Okay, so let's get started on creating the base. So you're going to need a piece of scrapbook paper that is 12 by 12, and I've selected this pattern. Now I did this specifically because whenever I create these sorts of things, I'm always mindful of the pattern, because I try to look at my papers, both front and back. If it's double-sided, I try to look at it sideways, upside down. Is it gonna matter when I am folding and things are turned all around when you're folding? So that's why I picked something like this. Another reason why is that I want my base to be colorful, but I want it to be as simple as possible. That way I can add all of my really pretty scrapbook papers for my pages, my flips, my pockets, you know, the cover, that sort of thing. So just giving you a little idea as to why I pick my papers the way that I do. So let's go ahead and get started on our scoring. So let's put in our paper, and we're just going to score at 6. Okay, then let's go ahead and turn it, and then we are going to score at 1.5, 6, and 10.5. So we've got 1.5, 6, 10.5. Okay, so that's all the scoring that it takes to create the base. So let's go ahead and just fold. Let me just, sorry for the reach. Let me go ahead and grab my bone folder so that I can crease my paper on the score marks. Okay. And let's do our 2 edges. So essentially, what we've done is we've scored down the middle as well, only on one side. We scored in the middle on both sides, but then on one side, we scored at 1.5 inch on both sides, just to kind of give you a feel for, you know, truly what is it. All right, let's get some cutting done. So let's see here, what's the best way? Okay, let me do it this way, okay? So we have our middle score, right? And then we have our 2 1.5 inch panels on either side. What we're gonna do is we are going to, on one of the panels, so on the right hand side, right? We've got this 1.5 inch panel. We've got a score at 6 inch. We're just gonna cut up to the score mark. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so now we've separated these 2 tabs, right? Now on the opposite side, we have the same thing, except this time we're gonna cut all the way up to the second score line, okay? So let's do that. So let's look at it again, right? So we have our 2 1.5 inch flaps. We've released here, and we released here, right? And on this side, we continued to cut up to the score mark, okay? All right, so now the folding. I think the folding is the most part where even myself, I get a little turned around on all the flips and this and that, and as I'm trying to figure out different things, next thing you know is I'm cutting, next thing you know, literally my paper just falls apart because I've cut so many times that I've completely cut it to pieces. All right, guys. Okay, so now what we want to do is that we want to, with the flaps on the top, right? Let's go ahead and just bring this, the top part, to the back, right? Let me do it again because I know a lot of times it gets confusing. We've got our side flaps, right? We're going to fold in half this way. So we're taking the back, and we're just going to take it and fold it and place it underneath that one. hope that helps. I know a lot of times when I'm trying to do things, it's really helpful when you go a little bit slower, because if you go fast, I think I might lose you. And I think the paper folding is, honestly, it's probably the hardest part of this whole thing. Otherwise, it's super simple. Okay, so now we have that. Then all we're going to do is we are going to fold over this side and then take this one and fold it to the back. Okay, so let's do that one more time. Sorry for those of you that get it. I'm trying to kind of explain really well for those that might need an additional second. Okay, so we've got that, right? Fold our tabs. Okay, so we're going to take one and create the cover. So we're going to fold it over, right? And then we're just going to take the other one and fold it to the back. Now, if you wanted maybe this pattern, it's the same thing, just that you're folding on the opposite side. That's all. Okay, so now what we have is our base structure for the portfolio. Okay, so let's look at it. We've got the cover, then we've got page 1, page 2. Oh, you know what? And I have it upside down. Let's see, is that right? Yeah. Okay, now we've got it. Okay, so let's take a look at our book. So we have our cover, page 1, page 2, and then there's going to be a top loading pocket here, right? We're going to turn it, page 3, page 4, back cover. So between pages 2 and 3 is going to be our top loading pocket. All right, so let's get started on page 1. Okay, so now that we have our base all created, now let's go ahead and work on our individual pages. So like always, I'm going to go ahead and leave the cover for last. Let's see here. I'm going to take off my paper clip and let's go ahead and bring in items for page 1. Okay, so what we're going to need are, get this out of the way. Okay, so what we're going to need is a piece that is 1 by 6. You can either use cardstock, designer series paper, whatever you want. I'm using cardstock. And then I just used an edge punch here just to give the edge a little bit of interest. And then I went ahead and I made myself an envelope. This envelope is based off of a 5.5 by 5.5 scrapbook paper, and I punched at 2 3/4. So let's go ahead and get the first part done. Let me make sure, first of all, what you want to make sure is that your top loading pocket is on the top. I've created things where inadvertently I started going and attaching, and then at the last minute realized that my opening was on the bottom, which means that I did everything backwards. Okay, so just be mindful that your opening between page 2 and 3 is at the top. Okay, so we're going the right way. Let's go ahead now and attach this border strip right to our flap, just like that. Okay. You can use anything you want. Let me grab my glue. Okay. Let me just make sure that looks straight to me. Okay, so there is our border for the flap. Now here, you can either just glue right here, and that'll make it a tuck spot, or you can glue both here and here and make it a pocket. That's completely up to you, and I think for this, I'm gonna do it as a tuck spot. So let me go ahead, and I'm just gonna add some glue just on the bottom. Okay, make sure it's lined up. So there is our tuck spot. So now we have that. Let's go ahead and work on the envelope. So like I said, let's go ahead and just add some adhesive. Let's make sure this is facing the correct way. For this pattern, it can actually go any which way, so I'm gonna go with this. So I'm just gonna place just a little bit adhesive, just to make sure that we close up. Oh, you can see my needle was rusting a little bit and it got in the glue. Not a problem, doesn't affect the way the glue works. So there we go. There is our putting the needle back into my glue bottle. All right, so there is our little envelope. Okay, so we can just add it here. We can make two if you want. I think I'm gonna use just one envelope for this page. All right, let's go ahead now and work on the next page. That is page 2. Okay, so before we get started with page 2 and all of that fun stuff of the elements, let's go ahead and just close up where we need to close up. So here's page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, right? And then we have our back cover. Between pages 2 and 3, that's where we want to decide whether we want a side loading pocket here or a top loading pocket up here. And in this instance, I'm going to do a top pocket. So what that means is we need to glue. We are going to glue here and here. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Now we do want to get as close to the edge as possible so that it doesn't take up too much room on the inside pocket, so it gives us a little more room to place things inside. Fold it on top of each other. Make sure you press well. Okay, and let's just see if there's anything seeping out, and I don't have anything. Okay, so now what we've done is we have closed up our pocket. So now let's go ahead, and you don't have to do this part, however I will. I'm going to add a little thumb notch up here just to let the person, the recipient, whoever is looking at this portfolio, let them know that there's something inside there. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so I have used let me see if I have this here. It's a Recollections circle punch. The circle punch is scalloped, and I am using a 1-inch punch, and I just went halfway and created my little thumb notch, and I thought the scalloped edges would give it just a little bit more prettiness. Always looking for those details. Okay, so now we have that. We have our pocket. Now let's go ahead and start working on our page 2 elements. Okay, so for page 2, I have a couple of things going on. So let me bring in these first. So I thought that it might be nice to include some page mats here just for the recipient to be able to mat their pictures. I have cut 3 sets. So what you're going to need are 3 pieces of card that are 3 1/4 by 3 1/4, and then you're going to need 3 pieces of scrapbook paper of your choice that are 3 by 4. So 3 1/4 by 4 1/4, 3 by 3, you need 3 of each. All right, let's go ahead and move this out of the way. And then what I was thinking is that it might be nice to have a little special edge to them. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that to all of my sets. Okay, so let's go ahead now. Now, as you can tell, I have done my corners to all of my pages, both card and scrapbook paper. And now let's go ahead and just attach the scrapbook paper. And of course, I am out. Okay, and let's just place this down, just making sure that all of the tape is on the inside. Okay, so there are our pick mats. Okay, and of course you can make as many as you want. I figured I'd start with 3. I have quite a bit of paper pictures that I want to document on, and I'm thinking that I want to start documenting on my channel how I document different events in my life, but I'll go into that in more detail shortly. All right, so there are our 3 pick mats, and I base the sizes obviously off the pictures that I know I'm going to be placing down. Your dimensions might be different depending on the picture that you're going to be using. Okay, the next thing that I want to do is I want to create an insert for our top loading pocket on our page 2, and I want it to be able to fit inside of this pocket pretty easily. Okay, so what you're going to need for that is you're going to need a piece of cardstock that is 3 3/4 by 6 1/2, and then you're going to need 2 pieces of scrapbook paper to mat both sides, and that is 3 5/8 by 6 1/4. Okay, so let's go ahead and at this point, if you wanted to round the edges, if you wanted to use different corners, you could. In this instance, I think I'm just going to leave it the way that it is. If you're using this more as a mini album or something like that, you can include journaling on one side and then pictures on the other. Completely depends. You can tailor it to however you need it. So let's go ahead and just open this up. Make sure, yeah. Okay, so open it up and just make sure that it fits, especially lengthwise. I want it to stick out, and it does. I don't want it to stick out too much, but I want it to stick out enough where you know that there's something there as well. I'm just testing to make sure that it comes in and out pretty easily, which it does. Okay, so now we are going to add our 1 by 6, and let's go ahead and just attach to our flap. Okay, and let's make sure it's even. Okay, I think that's good. Okay, let's go ahead and just make sure that's down, and then let's see here. It looks like, okay, so now we have our flap decorated. So now we need to decide whether we want it to be a tuck spot like here or a pocket. Okay, I'm going to do a pocket, but let's just see here for a second, because I have my thumb notch here, and I think what I might do is just kind of curve this side here. Now let's see. I want to make sure that it doesn't interfere with my thumb notch hole there. I'm going to remove just a little bit. Just a little bit, making it round. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, I want, instead of a tuck spot, I think I want a pocket. So let's go ahead and just do that. Let me grab my glue super quick. Okay, so I'm just going to place glue here and here. Okay, and then here, and turn it over, remove any glue that comes out. Okay, so now we have our pocket, and our pick mats can reside in there. So let's see, let's fold this back. Okay, so we have page 1, page 2 now is a pocket for our pick mats. All right, let's go ahead and work on page 3's element. Okay, so let's work on our page 3. I've cut 2 1x6 strips. Again, I did the same thing, decorating the edge using a punch. I did it to both sides. And instead of using yellow like I did previously, I want to do something different so it kind of looks different than the page previously. And I'm going to use green cardstock. So again, I just want to make sure that my page does not interfere. Oops, let's see here, right there. That my border strip does not interfere with, sorry, sometimes it's hard to talk and kind of gauge. All right, it doesn't interfere with my thumb notch here. So again, I just kind of want to look to see, all right, well, does it interfere even if it's a very little bit? And I'm going to remove just a hair from this curve. Again, trying to make it a curve. All right, that's good. And let's go ahead and make this one a tuck spot. So again, we're only going to place glue on the bottom here. Do that. Fold over. And just make sure it's pressed down really well. And if you have a little bit that is over the edge, that's perfectly fine. Just give it a good nip. Okay. Oh, this is coming out so darn cute. All right, let me flip it back again. Okay, so we have our tuck spot here now. Okay, let's go ahead and work on page 4. So you are going to need a piece of 1x6 strip of cardstock, and then if you want, you can decorate the edge with a punch, and that's going to be for the flap, and that'll match. Oops. And then that'll match this side. And then for our waterfall, you're going to need the following. So you're going to need a piece of cardstock that is 4x4, and we're going to score at 1/2 inch. And then you're going to need 2 pieces of scrapbook paper that are 3 7/8 by 3 3/8. So that's for the top one. And then for the middle, you're going to need a piece of cardstock that is 4 by 5 inches, and on the 5-inch side, you're going to score at 1/2 inch. And then you're going to need 2 pieces of scrapbook paper that are 3 7/8 by 4 3/8. And then for the third waterfall, you're going to need a piece of cardstock that is 4 by 6, and on the 6-inch side, you're going to score at 1/2 inch. And then you're going to need 2 pieces of scrapbook paper that are 3 7/8 by 5 3/8. So now let's go ahead first. Oh, and I forgot to talk about the closure. Okay, you're going to need a piece of cardstock for the closure that is 1 1/2 by 4 1/4. So again, 1 1/2 by 4 1/4. And on the 4 1/4 inch side, you're going to score at 1/2 inch. And then you're going to need a piece of scrapbook paper that is 1 3/8 by 3 5/8. Okay, so first let's go ahead and just bring in our strip of cardstock that is 1 by 6. And let's just add that to our flap, making sure that it looks straight. Let's work on our first one. So that's, we're gonna bring in the 4x4 cardstock, and we scored that at a 1/2 inch. And now I'm just going to add some glue onto that 1/2 inch tab. And you know me, I like to either go sideways or upside down, and I'm gonna go upside down just because I like to look at my spacing at the top. And then let's bring it up, just making sure that I look aligned. All right, let's bring that up. Now, what I think I want to do is, do I want to round the corners or not? You know, rounding the corners I think looks nice. So let's go ahead and round the corners on all of your paper. Again, if you want to, you certainly don't have to do this. I think this will just give it kind of a finished look. So now when you turn it down, yeah, that looks good. Okay, I like that. All right, so go ahead and do that to all of your pieces. Okay, so now is the time that if you want to use a magnet, which I'm gonna do, is where we need to place it down. So I have placed my magnets down, both of them. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna work on the closure super quick because I need that in order to know where everything's gonna line up. So I'm bringing in my cardstock and I'm just folding over on the, where is it? On the score mark, and I'm just gonna add some adhesive. Okay, now I just want to try and get this as even as possible to both the card and my base. Just making sure it's on there good. Okay, now that it's on there, I want to go ahead and just push my closure down, press down, and lift up. So now I have perfect placement of where my magnet is gonna meet the top. We needed to do this part first before we place the scrapbook paper. Okay, that's on there really well, and I'm just using straight Scotch tape to hold it. Okay, so let's go ahead now and just mat our top part. So let's go ahead and get some adhesive down. And mat this one. Again, just being mindful of where you round your corners because of the pattern. In this instance, like that. Okay, let's work on our next one. So for the next one, let's go ahead and bring in our 4x5 card, and let's do that one first. So again, we're just gonna fold on the 1/2 inch mark, and we're gonna place some adhesive down. I'm gonna use glue. It's a little bit more forgiving so that I can manipulate it a little bit before it hardens. All right, let me see here. I'm gonna go upside down, and I'm just gonna bump it up right against the previous one. Okay, let's see here. Just want to make sure that it looks good on both sides. Okay. And now let's go ahead and just line both of our sides. good, that one's on. All right, let's work on our last waterfall page. So for this one, we're going to bring in our 4x6, and I'm just folding on the 1/2 inch score mark. So on all 3 cards, we scored at 1/2 inch. Let's add some adhesive down. Okay, so let's go ahead and just bring in our scrapbook paper. So we are bringing in the 2 that are 3 7/8, and we cut it down to 4 5/8. Now here's a perfect example about where you want to round your corners, because if we do it incorrectly, you can see how that won't work because it'll be upside down. So we want to make sure that the pattern is correct as well. When you flip it up, you just want to make sure that the corners are correct, because if you place it upside down, it's not going to look right. If you do it that way, it's not going to look right. So you just want to make sure that you are rounding your corners where they should be. Okay. Let's go ahead and I like to highlight those things because it happens to me a lot. Not a lot, but you know what I mean. It happens. I mean, every crafter it happens to. So I thought that I would make mention of it because I know that it is helpful to me. Okay. So there is our last waterfall page. Now let's go ahead and just back the back. All right, so now there is our waterfall, and as you can see, our magnet hits it really well. Now let's go ahead and add our scrapbook paper to our closure, and let's double check that it aligns, which it does. So let's go ahead and add some adhesive, and I rounded my corners as well just to keep everything cohesive. Let's see, no, that's good. Okay. Okay, and now let's just add some adhesive to the other side so we can place this down. Let's see, I'm just going to turn it to the side, make sure my corners are rounded correctly. All right, let's just take a peek. Oops. Okay, had to adjust. All right, so there is our 4th page. Okay, so I've gone ahead and I've cut myself a piece of scrapbook paper that is 1.5 by 6, and that's gonna go simply right on top of our flap, and it's just to hide this. So let's go ahead. Okay, so let me just fix this super quickly. I'm just going to move it over just a little bit. Okay. I'm doing it. All right, guys. So there is that. I'm really liking this because it almost draws your eye to this area, because it's plain in contrast to the rest of it. All right, guys. Well, that is the structure of our portfolio. All right, now for the fun part. Let's get to decorating. All right, guys. So I finished decorating my folio, and oh my goodness, guys. This is why I craft as much as I do and why I love this hobby. Look at how cute this came out. I am just completely in love with this. Look at that. And then I just simply use Tulle, my favorite way to do closures. I happen to think it looks elegant and it's super easy to use and serve its function. So let's go ahead and just get rid of the Tulle. So let me show you what I've done. Here on the cover, I have layered upon layer different ephemera pieces, die cuts, things like that. I've added a rosette here and some gems. And then underneath this is a large tag where I just punched a hole and added some beautiful seam binding to the top. And of course I'm bringing in, I picked the burgundy seam binding because it's peppered throughout the portfolio, and again I just like to kind of bring all of those colors together. I think it just looks absolutely beautiful. So when you open it, we just take out these. So here I just have a cardstock sticker. Here I have a sentiment. It says, "I pick you, pumpkin." And then down here I have more cardstock stickers. This is so cute. I love this. And then just added a gem. And then in the pocket, what I did was I selected a couple of cut aparts and I just rounded the edges. Look at how beautiful those are. So I included that. Then I created this envelope here. So depending on how you're going to use this portfolio, if it's Happy Mail, you can include things that you want to gift to your recipient. If it's a mini album, you can include journaling and pictures in here. So that's the back. Just added some die cut pieces and some gems. And then here I just added this die cut here as the closure. And then I made another envelope, this time using vellum. I placed a little sentiment here. It says bonfires and blankets. Here are a few cardstock stickers that I have layered on top of each other. And then on the back, on the flip, I just included a little die cut there, so we can add more things there. So let me put these back in its tuck spot here. And then here I just added another cardstock sticker. Love all of these stickers. On this side, I just included some cardstock stickers and a gem up here. Added another sticker down here, and then here are the pick mats that we made. So this one here, on all of them I've added gems next to the sentiments. This one here says pumpkin spice everything, and then here is a little cardstock sticker. This one says I love sweater weather, little sticker. And then here it says, got that autumn feeling, and a little sticker. Didn't these just come out absolutely adorable? I'm just so in love with these. And then of course we have our top loading pocket here. So here I have just added a cardstock sticker, a sentiment. It says snuggle under the blankets with a little gem. And then here I just placed two stickers, another sentiment here. It says harvest time and a little gem. So that is in the pocket. Then when we turn the page, we have another tuck spot here. More cardstock stickers. Here I've just layered one on top of the other to kind of give it like a scene. And then here is a gem. Here I've placed a cardstock sticker and placed a sentiment on top. It says all the cozy things. And then here On our last page, I have a cardstock sticker, Farm Fresh Pumpkins, and then layered some stickers on top of each other with a gem. Then when you open that, we have another gem, another sticker, a couple of stickers down here, and then here is our waterfall page. So here is the closure. I just added a little banner sticker here, fall vibe sticker here, and then added a couple of gems, kind of staggered. So when you open that, you have your first waterfall page. So here I have a little sticker of a boot and a sentiment. It says, "Got that autumn feeling." Added a gem, another sticker. Here is another boot. It says, "Jump in the leaves," and another gem. Here is a really cute sticker. And then on the last waterfall page, I just have a sentiment and a gem. It says, "So long summer, hello fall." Now on the back of all of the waterfall pages, I decided that I wanted to make some sort of scene. So let me move this out of the way. So I have this die cut here. I just placed glue on the bottom to create my tuck spot. Isn't that beautiful? And then included 2 journal spots so that I could write more things. Isn't that just simply adorable? Oh, completely in love with this set. Okay, so let's close that back up. Place the magnet back. And let's place this back super quick. Let's see, I may have to stand it up so I can see where the opening is. All right, there we go. Okay, so on the back, I just placed a really pretty scene here using sticker. Isn't that just beautiful? And all of the stickers have kind of like a shimmer to them almost. And there you have it, guys. There is our completed fall portfolio. So what do you guys think? Are you guys, first of all, are you guys working on your fall projects? I'm sure most of you are. This is the best time of year for me. This is my happiest time. I love the end of year holidays. Get this tulle ribbon nice and pretty. Get it all fanned out. Alright guys, so I really hope that you liked today's video. If you did, please smash that like button and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And if you have, thank you so much. Your support goes an awful long way in helping my little channel out. Alright guys, until the next time, stay safe, be kind, and keep it creative.